And great, I'd like to welcome everyone joining us this week. It'll be a quick recap of the TGC Fantasy Football League Week 2. I have Greer Reaver, Dwayne, joining me tonight. He's one of our guys. He's the coach of One Ball to Rule Them All. I, of course, am Don Scrivian, coach of Scrivian Sack. So we're going to start everything off with, then we're going to look at the scoreboard real quick. This is our format down here. You can see the scrolling across down the bottom there, the standings in each of the East, West, and the South divisions. You see the scoreboard there. Quick recap of what happened. You've got Scrivian Sack defeated Bradford and Company. Jism Cheeks beat De Bears to Balls. Old Scrotums beat Salty Balls. One Ball to Rule Them All beat Nerf My Balls. And Team Ball Liquors beat Rockington Dragons. And last but not least, Unexpected Sack Attack defeated the Maple Syrup Balls. So we're going to quickly go through these games. We're going to start with game one. Did anything pop at you on this? Did you see Dwayne Scrivian Sack and Bradford and Company?
Well, I mean, let's see. It looks like L. Scrivian did quite well through the first. His quarterbacks, pretty average running backs. He got good production from both running backs. Nothing from his receivers, though.
Yeah, I'm seeing down on the bench.
Yeah,
Yeah,
looking down on
Martellus
his
Bennett,
bench.
19 points.
Yep, that's tight end. There was a Tuis 3. It's hard to go against Tony
Yeah,
Gonzalez for Martellus Bennett, who was questionable. But
yeah.
in this particular case, just a bad call.
Yeah, I think the other thing is I personally pulled the Seahawks out because I knew they were going against the Niners, which I thought was going to be a
Now,
high-powered offense,
now I
and turned
think
out
I
not to
think
be. So
it's pretty tough though if you look on the other side for Bradford and Company.
I think
Zero
you.
from two wide receivers, zero from a tight end, zero
Yep.
from the defense, and -1 from his kicker. Like that's
Yeah,
just.
I don't know how you do that. How you might use it block.
And let's see, there's his wide receivers on his bench. About 30 points on his bench and zero on
Yeah.
his
You see, I think
in
one of
his
his key
team.
things there is
So
receiver Amendola wasn't even, and he even posted in our Smack Talk board there. Two of his players were out for the week, and he just
yeah,
missed it. He got in too late. It was like they were locked.
yep,
So
yeah. I've been there. I did that the first time. My first year. It
yeah,
happens. It
it does.
happens.
You got game two here. You've got Jism Cheeks, which is Isaac Clark, off to a 2-0 start, going against De Bears the Balls, which is Fracker. And Isaac kind of tore him up, but he left some points on the bench too.
Yeah, I mean, Philip Rivers outdid Matt Ryan. You know, whatever though. He got pretty good production through most of his players. Wide receiver and his second running back weren't impressive, but first running back, first wide receiver, Des Bryant played a great. Looks like he was great this
Yeah,
week, and whatever he
he's
got to
got.
that 116, and when you only got to beat
You,
78 on the other side, it just
well, you look over at the Bears the Balls, and you look at. I mean, look at some of those guys who was getting running back 2 points, running back 5 points, and you look down at
ah,
his bench, and he's got 22 points. I mean, and again, it's hard to tell this early in the season
exactly. Well,
what
no
he's going
Sean
to do.
Moreno. I had no idea that he was going to go 22 points worth of, fantasy. He wasn't. He's not necessarily their number one back or anything like that.
Yeah,
Uh, and when you get Maurice Jones-Drew going down to an injury during the game,
yeah,
that's obviously there's not much you can do about that.
yeah.
He
So
got an incredible production from Julio Jones. So
yeah.
you can't argue. But yeah,
So you got. Yeah, it's hard to. I mean, you wouldn't even pick normally
and
uh, Alex Smith as a quarterback
that's
over
yeah.
Drew
Yeah, that's
Brees. You wouldn't
exactly what I
normally
was
do
gonna
that. I mean,
say.
that's just
Yeah,
kind of a
that's.
bye week
But I'll tell you what,
thing.
Alex Smith has been really solid this year. So I mean, who knows? He's a game manager, but when he outdoes Drew Brees, it's that's something
Drew
shocking to
Brees, number
see and
one.
look
Was he
at.
number one last year fantasy?
He's been very high for
Yeah.
every year since he's been in New Orleans, really. So I mean, he throws touchdowns.
We got game three. We had Old Scrotums versus Salty Balls, and Old Scrotums won 103 to 84. And it looks like it was pretty good. He's got a couple of points in there. His flex was down at one. Flex is always a tough one to pick if you're going to do. And of course, his looks like his running back, number one running back up there with 7 points. You look down on his bench. I don't know that he had a running back. It looks like he's wide receiver heavy, actually. No, he's got
Yeah, I mean,
three
well,
running backs, three wide receivers.
he got good great production from Deshaun Jackson. Robert Griffin didn't play good,
Don't know
but
what's going on
because
there.
he did so good in the second half, he ended up with 22 points. I mean, that's a
Yeah,
strong fantasy day, even though
it
he
is.
didn't
It is.
necessarily have a strong day. And 12 points from your kicker never hurts.
No, that
I
doesn't
mean,
either.
that's a good way to, sneak in a few extras that you can't really count on. And then you look across the way, and Eli Manning was, miserable again. And
See, I think one of those. Looking at that game in particular, I don't think I would have put Eli in against.
I
Well,
mean,
maybe.
let's
I
see,
mean,
what does he have? He had
he had like
Matt
400
Schaub.
yards and
So
stuff.
you could argue that Matt Schaub at Tennessee was probably a better pick, maybe. Whatever.
Yeah, it's a tough one. This early, it's hard to
After
tell.
week one, you could definitely make that argument because
I
Eli
think the
was
thing to
really
watch out
healthy.
for with Eli coming up though is, I mean, they even talk about it. He's got 7 interceptions in the first 2 games.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. After week one, you could see the argument to bench him. Just the shock argument, like, whoa,
Yeah,
whoa.
yeah,
So, and then whatever, his backs were solid. Uh,
yeah. Now
one
this is
good
a.
running back, Vincent Jackson. That's just a weak performance from a good receiver.
I'm
So,
looking at
and
game 4 now with and this was Cirrhosis and you. I mean, this is your game, and this was, I don't know, what were you
yeah,
thinking going into this game? I mean, because you saw what Cirrhosis did last week with Adrian Peterson and Peyton Manning, those two alone.
well, I knew that Peyton wasn't putting up 46 again because that happened.
Yeah,
He broke, you know,
or
records
ties the
like that
seventh
was
touchdown
a
NFL record. Yeah,
record-breaking tying, performance. So that's not going to happen every week. Um, he still had a good day. The only thing, all that saved me is that Adrian Peterson didn't have a good day, and then Cirrhosis has his backup running back who got him 1 point. My backs, like last week, I had Lamar
mm-hmm.
Miller. I got 0 points from Lamar Miller last week. This week, he was my top back. Um, Calvin Johnson only got me 3 points last week, 23 this week. I mean, you can't. The
Yeah.
players on my team that needed to play good did play well, and everybody else pitched
I
in just
think
enough.
I think looking at your bench, yeah, of all the games we've seen, I think of the games that we have to come up, you probably, it looks like you did the best, at least the best roll of the dice. Besides, picking and
Yep.
looking at the games and who to put in. I mean, your
Now
bench, you're
it's
very few points on your bench at all that you
it's
left there that you could have gotten.
concerning to me that Andre Johnson is concussed, and I'm not sure about next week. So that's going to be a weird
Yeah,
decision to make. Uh, but we'll see.
yeah, and then I think Cirrhosis. I mean, again, another one of those
Cirrhosis.
things. When would you ever put Michael Vick in a game
Yep.
over Peyton Manning? And you
After
just, yeah,
after
it's
Peyton Manning
unrecoverable.
puts up after he puts up 46 last week, you can't put Michael Vick over it.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't.
So,
So
and okay, jumping into game 5 here, we've got the Rockington Dragon Balls versus Team Ball Lickers, and this one, the Ball Lickers won. We pulled it out 115, and again, it looks like another pretty decent bench. It looks like the only thing is a quarterback Flacco, 12 points, and then both his quarterbacks really had 2 points. I mean, he did almost as good a job as you did on his management, but you look up at his score. I mean, he's got a wide receiver 0 there, flex at 1. I mean, he pulled out some big numbers. Looks like Aaron Rodgers
well,
paid off
yep,
for him.
yep. Aaron Rodgers was his horse, but then you look on the other side. The reason it's close is then you get Marshawn Lynch on the other side, and he was a beast this week. So
Mm-hmm.
he put up 30 points. 30 points for a running back is disgusting. That I think Adrian was 28 the week
Yeah,
first week that Cirrhosis ran away with it. So 30 is really impressive. Um,
yeah.
but he got 23 points from a tight end. You got Jimmy Graham put up 23 points. And if you look, bench points left on the bench, his
There's
bench
not much there.
outscored their bench. So
Yeah,
he
yeah,
outscored them in the game and outside of the game. So it worked out. It was a good week for Team Ball Lickers.
yeah. When we jump into the last one, I know Vader's kind of bumming him. Vader's playing the maple syrup balls against unexpected
I
sack
see.
attack, and he got stomped. I mean, he said 2 weeks in a row he's kind of concerned. I'm looking at his team, and now he's going to have to make some deals here soon
Yeah,
because
I mean,
there's
look,
not much on the bench.
nobody performed, and
Yeah,
he
there's
could have
that.
he could have got 6 points from Cam Newton, but that's negligible. Really, and it would have been a real good week to have a strong week because really unexpected sack attack didn't have that great of a week either. 80 points.
80 points,
Um,
yeah.
he obviously nobody expected Kaepernick to have that terrible of a game. So
Yeah.
Roethlisberger, who also didn't really have a good game,
Yeah, 12
still
points. Yeah,
still
not much you
7
could do there.
points right there. And yeah, again, he just he won, but nobody had a super impressive game. He didn't leave any points on the bench to that he can be upset about either. So it was just one of those weeks. It was a good game. Neither team really was amazing. It hurts
Yeah.
when you're Vader and you lose Ray Rice. Like
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
that's tough
Definitely.
to lose Ray Rice. Chris Johnson, there's no telling whether or not he's back or going to be back, or he might just break out and have a great game, or he may just be mediocre like he has been lately. So we'll see. I feel like the no-name backs, and I don't do. Does anybody in our league have Eddie Royal? Because he's been
I don't
destroying
know. I haven't
fantasy.
seen him on the list.
But yeah,
I need a new
it
running back.
hasn't been necessarily the guys that you know. I mean, it was
Yeah.
good to see Calvin Johnson have a bounce back for me, but it's kind of the rest of the team getting it done right now, and so far it's worked out really good for some and not so good for others.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now just to pull
But
up. I
it's
pulled the
exciting.
scoreboard back up again, and we've got two guys at 2-0. That's you and Isaac at 2-0 right now. And I don't recall. I think our playoff format is it 2 or 4? But we've got 14 weeks to go, and we've got
Yeah,
14 weeks to play. We're going to play each other quite a few times, and I think as the season goes on, we'll get a better feel for it. You'll start seeing some trades and some desperate. I mean, for instance, I got 3 great quarterbacks, so I mean,
right. Yeah, you might be able to turn that into something positive. It
yeah,
we'll see. We'll
yep,
see. I'm not gonna be worrying about any trade talk currently.
yeah,
I'm
not now.
feeling
Oh no.
feeling pretty good. Like that, I'm sitting at 2-0. George 2-0 too. Whatever. I don't know
Yeah.
if I hate that I got to take a nice shot at him in the forums and he didn't even read it or go back in and at least
Yeah, Isaac never.
respond.
He never reads charge. He never reads
He's
forums.
a douche.
Barely ever.
He posted that forum and then he didn't even go back and read it after I got to trash him. So, you know, whatever. The smack boards, a little bit more action on the smack boards this week, a little bit more talk. I
Yeah, I'm
think
going to be
I think
stopping
that'll
Proctor
pick
this
up.
week. That's what I'm going for. Actually, I think we're going to have a close game, but I'm just going to say I'm going to take him out. I'm going to
Yeah,
take him 2 and 1.
I think it's starting to pick up. It'll get more exciting as the weeks go on, and yeah, looking good. Looking forward to it.
All right, great. Thanks, Greer, for joining me tonight and helping me out on this and getting this done.
No
We'll be doing
problem.
this every single week, myself and somebody from the. Usually it's supposed to be Scott Vader, so we'll see. But I know Greer's always standing by, loves to talk football. So again, thanks very much. Hope
Yep.
everyone enjoyed the show. Give us some feedback, and we'll change whatever you got to do. Have a great week, and look forward to the first game tomorrow night. And I think I've got guys
Set
in.
those rosters.
Get those
Set
rosters
those
set.
rosters. Don't be having those inactive players in. We'll use the ESPN enforcer.
Right. See you later, guys.